Hello, my name's Olurotimi Osha. I like talking about American history, and of course, I've been talking about forms of misconduct that I experienced while working at the Pentagon and in the Department of the Navy. Now, none of what I discuss is classified information, right? And typically, I'm not somebody who has time, I don't waste my time doing things that, don't have purpose, right? I've talked about my background, my education, but I started doing these videos because I've been held captive literally by Montgomery County, Maryland for over 3 years, right? I talked about how I was wrongfully detained, locked up for 450 days by a corrupt judge in Montgomery County, Maryland. I was a victim of a false flag operation, right, and a swatting. They false, they file false charges. They orchestrate, an a crisis situation which I never instigated, which I never uh, organized. Incidentally, the day I was swatted, May 16, 2023. The Navy had this so-called Navy General of Officers Professions Program appointment with me, right? The one Lieutenant Devon Blake had this appointment with me, and that was what's supposed to be going on. So we're not fools. You could put two and two together. Lightning doesn't strike twice in the same place. But in any event, when I do these videos, it's not to defame America or to disparage America, right? Of course, I love America because America I was able to, yes, I did come from a good family back home. So regardless, I'm the sort of person, regardless of where I go, I'll be successful because it's God who is my creator. It's God who helps me, right? God is bigger than America. God is bigger than any leader or any person in America, right? So God is the one who opens doors for me. And I'm fortunate that I came from a good home back in Nigeria. Now, what I earned in America, that was, on my own steam. Now, and of course, after I graduated from law school and from Columbia University as well, I was able to, I got into the Department of Defense in a senior career development program. That's the John S. McCain Strategic Defense Fellows Program. I got into the program and I was the number one pick, right? That was what I was told. And I got my top secret TSSCI clearance, but something peculiar happened, right? And uh, I started to suffer harassment, sexual harassment from the person I was working with. This person was new, had just joined the Pentagon, the Department of Defense, 3 months before me. But I started experiencing sexual harassment, right? And other form and discrimination as well, right? Other things. And I went through the brochure, the orientation manual, everything I was given. The rights of a federal government employee. So I knew my rights and I knew my duties as well. So I reported my experience. So that's automatically brought me under whistleblower protection. Under the law, right? And when you report misconduct in the federal government, they're not supposed to retaliate. They're not supposed to take reprisal action against you. Unfortunately, that was what I experienced because the person who was, sexually harassing me, doing all sorts of crazy things. I'd never worked with a crazy person before, but this was the first time I was working with somebody I thought was not only incompetent, but was crazy, was being lecherous, was being creepy. I told my friend. My friend said, "Document things, just document everything," which I did. Eventually, I got another job again in the Department of the Navy. I started to experience another thing again, and somebody actually asked me out, did stuff that was creepy, was asking me about my age. Again, I started to report this to the Auditor General of the Navy. I filed an EEOC complaint, right, because I had learned my lesson. So immediately there was something in process that I had filed. Again, I was retaliated against through a swatting, and this time they made it seem like it wasn't them that did it, that it was Jide Iwariri, right? This octogenarian fabulist, right, who's a professor at Howard University, but he was my emergency contact at work. Why would Jide Ware, who doesn't work at my job, why would the Navy send him a termination letter to give to me, sent to his home, right? So all of this bizarre stuff going on. Now, I'm somebody who reads a lot, and I'd read things of, Robert Ludlum, and I know U.S. government's history. I've been reading stuff, so I know their MO, the things they do, right? So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but in any event, my purpose is not to smear the U.S. government or the United States, but my purpose is, when I do these videos, is to bring attention that when we go and serve in the U.S. government, right, we're doing it out of love for the nation and service and to honor those in uniform. So the government needs to do something, and I don't want to re-victimize women who've been victimized, right? Because women are disproportionately victims of sexual harassment. So it's unfortunate that there are certain female leaders that are perpetrating sexual harassment against law-abiding federal employees who just want to do their jobs. They then try and discredit them. This is unfortunate, right? So something has to be done, right? And stop re-victimizing people because they're men, or because they or mischaracterize minorities who serve the nation as boogeymen. That's the excuse amongst a lot of people who are racist in America. And of course, the Department of Defense, the Pentagon, the Navy has its fair share of xenophobes and racists. And this has been in my experience. I just thought I should provide this disclaimer, as I do these videos and explain my experience. And hopefully it gets to the right channels of people in Congress, and they address the lecherous, that the Pentagon, the federal government, can't be a lecherous playground, right? Not women shouldn't be victimized, but men also shouldn't be victimized, right? I've been victimized, and when I came and I spoke up, I was almost killed, right? The false flag operation was done, and I was almost killed. And so I'll continue and do more videos. By the way, none of what I'm discussing is classified information. My name is Olurotimi Osha. I'll keep you posted. Thank you.